Well, Albert, the rumors circulate all over Toronto sports. We talk about Ohtani, but also Rasmus Ristolainen
Oh, my God.
coming in to be the savior of the Toronto Maple Leafs defense corps. This is what Elliot Friedman had to say on his 32 Thoughts column. I do think Toronto has taken a look at Philadelphia's Rasmus Ristolainen, who has 3 seasons remaining on a 5-year, $25.5 million contract. Cap problems concerned everywhere about that statement. But I don't believe the Flyers are eager to give him away. There's no rush for them to do anything while their group is playing well. That's not to say it couldn't be something down the road, but when the team is competing hard, getting good results, and generally doing what is being asked of them, why throw a stink bomb into your dressing room?
Rasmus Ristolainen is a stink bomb? This makes... Okay, listen, I get there's rumors, and I trust Elliot Friedman as one of the insiders in the NHL, but this makes no sense to me. Ristolainen is making, what, 5.1 to the cap. That's his cap hit. He's under contract until 2028. He started off the season with an undisclosed injury, and at best, he is a solid third-pairing guy. And you're going to ask, what, Philly to retain some of that salary and, what, pay $2.6 million or whatever it is, $2.5 million?
Yeah.
If they even want to retain that, if they even want to trade him. This makes no sense to me. I do understand the Leafs need defense. We keep talking about it. They have to get some enforcements in here very, very soon. But listen, at this price tag and for the player that you're getting, I know he's got that quote-unquote snot about him, but this doesn't make any sense to me.
Albert, I think that this trade could eventually happen. Look, the Flyers are doing...
Okay, hold on. But what does he actually bring to the Toronto Maple Leafs?
An NHL caliber defensive
for $5 million.
It's again, the contract, regardless, that's not worth it. He's not worth $5.1 million for sure. But when you look at the dire situation that they're in, they need an NHL able body, right? So do you bring in a Rasmus Ristolainen during this season?
No.
I don't think so during the season, but I think in the offseason this could happen. I could see something where, for example, and again, I'm just speculating here. I'm going to throw it to the wall, see if it sticks. But what happens if they decide, okay, we got to trade one of these core 4 guys, Marner, to Philadelphia, right, for Ristolainen, throwing your guy Bobby Brink, couple picks, maybe a couple more prospects.
Pooni, what are you saying right now?
I'm just saying
this is crazy. This is what you're talking.
I'm not saying Ristolainen's gonna be the centerpiece of a deal, but I'm saying he could be something a part of a bigger deal, right? Because he's got a big price tag. And I'm saying maybe Marner to Philly in the offseason for Bobby Brink, Ristolainen. I don't know.
The Leafs can't.
Travis Konechny.
The Leafs cannot take on this salary. It doesn't matter who it is. It could be Bobby Orr. They still can't take on this salary. And then you have Tanev out there who makes less.
Yeah, but Tanev's
Why
going to go 1 year. But you got to re-sign
okay.
Tanev though.
You have well, you're going to assume that you can re-sign him. Let's just assume that can happen.
Assumption.
It's an assumption. But I would rather go after Tanev, who makes less, better defenseman, can play as the number 1 guy
2 years
on the
old,
right-hand side, but he still can, with Morgan Riley. Then go after Ristolainen at 5.1. You got to pay him until 2028. It makes no sense.
I don't know, but so again, you talk about the trade bait, the biggest names on the board and stuff like that, and it's centered mostly around Calgary. That's like the epicenter of what's going to happen at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
You got Elias Lindholm, Tanev, Hanifin, right? Those are the big 3 guys on the market right now. Well, Hanifin makes 4.95, and then he's also a UFA, right? And he's a lot younger. He's 26 years old. So I don't think the Leafs are going to be able to acquire Noto Hanifin because that's going to be a big price tag that the Flames are going to be asked for. Can you get a Chris Tanev? Yes. But again, the problem is the money situation, right? How do you make the money work? I think that if this Ristolainen thing has any legs to it, like I said, it's going to be an off-season move here. It's not going to be an in-season move because the Leafs are so strapped up against the cap. They don't have any flexibility to make a move to bring in even a Tanev type salary in because nobody wants to retain. Nobody's going to retain unless you add a high level pick, right? Or, a prospect or something to sweeten the value up. And the Leafs aren't going to trade Nyes. They're not going to trade Robertson. They're not going to give up that first round pick. You mentioned before that Brad Treliving doesn't like the prices. They're too high for a defenseman right now. Well, that's what happens. When injuries happen and teams can smell the desperation on you, they're going to jack the price up because they know they have you in a corner. Right? So if I'm Craig Conroy and Brad Treliving calls me once again, right, for Chris Tanev or maybe Noah Hanifin, I'm going to be like, Brad, I told you with the Zadorov situation, I don't want to retain salary, right? So you got to figure that out on your own and then come talk to me.
Yeah.
Right? Same thing with Philly. Philly's in a situation where, yes, they have Torts. They're kind of in like a transition period where they have some young pieces coming in, but they still have, their older guys there and they have a veteran coach in Torts, right? I don't think Philly wants to take on retaining salary in any trade, whether it's a rental or a permanent move. Like
realistically, no one wants to retain
Nobody
salary.
wants to. Right now, if you trade for a team, like say, for example, Tyson Barrie, right? His...
Not this again.
What? Like Tyson Barrie is looking...
He's been so bad that the Preds are kicking him out.
Yeah,
they're like, listen, go do whatever you want.
Right?
No.
They could retain some salary on Tyson Barrie. You tell me right now you wouldn't take Tyson Barrie on this Toronto Maple Leafs defense core?
I mean, for what? How much?
Something, again, they retain some salary and you do it for like a third or fifth round pick.
I mean, I think you look at other options because, you need some offense from the defensive end, but you need defense. You need some shutdown guys, and Tyson Barrie isn't that guy. Go look at who's available, right? Sean Walker, another guy on the Philadelphia Flyers, $2.65 million. Labushkin, $2.75 million. Ethan Bear is out there. You can get as a free agent. So, no, what I'm saying is Ristolainen, okay, I'm sure he's a good player. I don't think he's that great, to be completely honest with you.
A bit overrated.
But why would you be looking at a guy who's worth $5.1 million at this moment when there's other players out there who can fill in these gaps at a cheaper price and a price that you probably don't have to pay that much for?
Well,
this is what I mean by this whole Ristolainen thing.
And it's been reported that the Leafs are going to be in Kelowna, British Columbia, to watch Ethan Bear skate because a bunch of teams are going to be there. Now, it is out there that the Canucks are the favorites because of the familiarity they have with
the
Bear.
Devils want him too.
The Devils want him as well. But if teams are getting involved in Bear, it's going to be a bit of a bidding war, right?
Yeah.
And can the Leafs afford to get in a bidding war for a guy who, let's face it, is going to be a bottom pair defenseman? Then you mentioned other guys. You got Mike Matheson out of Montreal, right? He's got 2 years at $4.87 million. That's not going to work out.
I don't see the Habs trading within the division.
Yeah, then even if you want to go with Matt Dumba out of Arizona, $3.9 million. That's a bit less than Tanev and all these other guys, but Matt Dumba is not known for his defensive prowess, right? Hell, he's not even scoring that much.
The Wild are turning it around since they fired Dean Evison.
Yeah.
They're playing better. Same thing with Philly. Philly's playing better. The Sharks are playing better. So all these teams where you assume we're selling, the Flames are playing better, don't necessarily have to jump the gun right now. They can wait.
Even a guy like Philip Broberg out of Edmonton, who's not getting any ice time.
Again, these guys, you got to look for cheap players at the moment. But this Ristolainen thing has kind of done my head in. I don't understand it.
I'm
$5.1 million for a guy who's what? I think his career high in points is like 40 points.
Yeah, he had all those years in Buffalo where he wasn't very good. Somehow got a big deal out of Philly.
Who's a better defenseman, Ethan Bear or Ristolainen?
That's close.
My point exactly. My point exactly.
Even like Andrew Peeke out of Columbus, right? There's guys out there that are on the cheap that you can make moves for.
Yeah.
It just depends on what Brad Treliving wants to offer up. A guy like Tony DeAngelo. I know Tony DeAngelo has so much baggage.
Lots.
Right? So much baggage. He's a scumbag of a person, right? But he has, he's cheap. Is that a move the Leafs make?
That's not a great pitch, though. Hey, Brad, listen, I got this guy. Listen,
he's a
bit of a scumbag as a person.
He's
but
cheap.
You can fit him in, though. What do you think? That's not going to happen.
So I don't know.
The Leafs they have a lot to do. But just back on this Ristolainen thing, 5.1 makes no sense. I think it's a wait and see with him. If you get him at a cheap price, at maybe like you said in the offseason, then go for it. Right now, you got to find some cheap players to fill some holes, or just go after the big dog in Tanev, who we know for a fact Brad Treliving wants him. And maybe when it comes to salary retention, maybe Calgary will change their point of view on that because they're not taking salary on two players. This is just one player. They wanted salary retention on Zadorov and Tanev.
It's not going to happen.
So it's probably not going to happen, but I don't think Ristolainen is going to happen.
Get ready for some more Simon Benoit ice time.
Oh, my God. He's actually been pretty good.
Yeah.